Hello every person who happened to click on this video. My name is Solar Sands, and welcome back to A Man Finds Unholy Creations and Reviews Them to satisfy his morbid curiosity and then immediately regrets it. Today, we will be looking through what I can only assume is a sneeze fetish. So what this user likes to do is make these comics, I guess, of Lumpy from Happy Tree Friends sneezing. So first we have Lumpy questioning his existence, then panels 2 and 3 are Lumpy preparing himself for the sneeze, and then the release. Then this repeats until eventually you get to the climax, which is him simply letting out a sneeze that is significantly larger than the first two. Pretty much every comic they have made is like this. It's just the same comic of a character sneezing over and over again. Believe it or not, they even have a large collection of sneeze fanfiction. The fact that this person can take the simple action of a sneeze and extend it to an estimated 4 pages is an impressive feat on its own. After reading through it a few times, I can conclude that it's not anything that interesting. It's pretty much just describing a character sneezing a lot. I know, what a surprise. There's actually somewhat of a plot, but I don't want to bore you with it, so I'm going to move on. You can read it on the website if you want. Next, we are going to dive into something I have touched on before, but never really talked about in detail: anthropomorphic planes and aircraft. There is a surprisingly large culture surrounding these anthroplanes, and this culture is accompanied with a surprisingly large amount of pretty good artwork. It's actually quite interesting to analyze how these artists manage to take the design of a plane and turn it into something that resembles a female. Everything from the cockpit head to the, interesting placement of the engine. The attention to the anatomy and design of these odd creatures is an art on its own, although sometimes the breasts look really stiff, but they are made of metal, so I don't really know if that's intentional or not. Some people in this anthroplane group even have different styles of designing their anthroplanes. The exact origin of this idea, as far as I can tell, is unknown, but my research has led me to this account, which is the closest to the origin I could get to. This account shows a diverse assortment of anthropomorphic aircraft. I'm also impressed by the sheer amount of detail that goes into these works' descriptions. I mean, it's obvious from this giant page of text that these people seem to know their stuff. These people are obviously very passionate about their aircraft. Maybe a little too passionate. You really have to appreciate how much care is put into some of these drawings. Some elements in this painting, like the hair, seem a bit out of place, but I do enjoy the rough and turbulent brushwork. Also, these anthroplane artworks spawn some of the strangest conversations in the comments sections. A spy? Maybe I'll torture her cute little feet and find out what she knows. You might get a missile sent after you. Smiley face emoticon. It be worth it, X3. I seriously love the size of the boobs, man. Didn't know you can draw them like that. Here's something I put together. A normal fighter jet's wingspan is roughly 7 meters. From the nose is roughly 10 to 15 meters. So if I'm right, her boobs are the size of a car. Enjoy science! Sounds like some sort of perverted version of Vsauce. This group of artists have one of the most unique and intriguing cultures I've seen on Deviantart. This is also one of the better odd communities I've seen on the internet. Most of these artists are, for the most part, pretty self-aware and respectful, and I also have to appreciate the amount of knowledge and detail they show in their work. Next, we have one of the most fascinating collections of art I've ever come across, featuring male pregnancy of Lenny and Carl on The Simpsons. And as random and illogical as this subject matter is, the actual art is surprisingly well made. This user did a terrific job of replicating the facial designs of the characters, and the line work is astonishingly clean for paper. In this artwork, I think Marge's reaction reflects what everyone else is thinking when they see this artwork. Gasp. Lenny? Carl? You're both pregnant? What has Kate and Lindsay done to you two? Now you may be wondering, who are these people that Marge is asking about? Who are Kate and Lindsay? Now you may also be wondering how two males can even become pregnant, and to that I have no answer. But what I do know is who the mothers are. Well, I think they're mothers. They are females, but they didn't birth the baby. Just forget it. There is no use in trying to inject logic into this scenario. The mothers, I suppose, are these two Anthro cat OCs. One which appears to be some sort of winged emo character, and the other which is a purple three-eyed character. Now, I don't know why these two characters are so drastically different compared to the style of their Simpson partners. I suppose it's some sort of creative choice. Overall, this artwork is higher quality than most, and its entertainment value is even higher. Here we have some art from the show The Loud House, where one of the characters seems to be entertaining their younger siblings with their foot puppets, because, you know, that's something we all did as kids. One thing I want to mention is how incredibly fascinated this baby is with their older siblings' dressed up feet. Their pupils are so dilated and glossy that it's unnatural. It's like they are staring up at God's face, which is smiling back at them through their sister's comically oversized feet. Pure happiness is radiating from their face. The next few pictures are centered around a certain community that enjoys artwork of females with ridiculously oversized muscles. Now, the artwork that these artists make tend to vary in quality, but most of them have the same themes, which are clusters of giant muscular tissue that pretty much surrounds the entire body. Now, I have no problem with females that are very fit or muscular, but these drawings take it to the point of absurdity. The size and strained look of these muscles actually looks incredibly painful, as if they are going to explode at any moment. In fact, a lot of questions about anatomy come into play when I analyze these drawings and the ideas behind them. Each of these figures looks incredibly bulky, to the point where it looks like the sheer mass and size of their muscles would overpower their ability to move them. These muscles, despite their obvious power, would probably make these people anything but agile. As for the quality of these drawings, it's slightly better than most. Most of them feature a cartoonish style with some cell shading, and I have a feeling that trying to add any more detail to these already pretty crowded bodies would just make the whole thing feel cluttered, so I think the slightly more simple style is the best choice, and a choice that most of these artists use. This piece is titled, "Does This Turns You On?" A question I think we are all interested in asking these artists. And while for the most part a lot of these people answered yes, I think in the hypothetical scenario of trying to mate with these creatures, you would die. The next artist is one who focuses mainly on photo edits, and they are some of the most peculiar edits I have ever laid my eyes upon. This person's art is kind of in a genre of its own. It's not exactly fetish art, but it's also not very logical. It's just plain weird. So one of the many themes that Master Smooth uses in their photo edits is this one picture of some girls beating another girl up. The artist doesn't really change the picture that much in each of these photo edits, besides the head of the main girl, so it just looks like these women are beating up some different poor girl each time all across the world. This piece is titled, "Wow, two babes beating up a skank outside my office." Well, this man doesn't seem very concerned about that at all. In fact, it looks like he can't even acknowledge that these girls exist. These girls just seem to beat up any female they can find in any scenario, in any environment. You have to admit, their consistency is impressive. Another theme is this stock photo man who likes to peer up women's skirts. Again, it appears that this person is doing this perverted act all over the world, even on escalators. In fact, this whole picture is surreal. None of the perspectives make any sense, and for some reason it appears that like 20 people are all fitting on one step. There's also a picture where a bunch of people, including President Donald Trump, board a bus whose main passenger is Osama bin Laden, because reasons. Then of course we have a few photos dedicated to squirrels hitting women in the crotch with sledgehammers. I'm not even gonna try anymore. This person's gallery is filled to the brim with almost 2,000 of these nonsensical photo edits. So if you want to go through and maybe figure out the meaning behind these photos, then be my guest. Anyway, my name is Solar Sands, this has been Browsing DeviantArt, and goodbye.